Good evening to you all. So you're listening to the Dell and Murray Show, and we hope you're all having a fabulous week. So as you can see, I'm on my own yo. So unfortunately, my partner in crime is on the show tonight, and she has another commitment, but she'll be back here for the Tuesday show. So on tonight's show, we have an interview with a very talented drummer, Neil Finlay from Curse of Lono, and ahead of his debut album launch, Songs of Tino Kane, we have an interview with the man himself. So we also have music from Curse of Lono, Tino Kane, and Stepford Wives. But first, we're going to kick off with an absolute legend, John Murray. So I met John when he was supporting Curse of Lono at Band on the Wall a couple of months back. So he was born and bred in Mississippi and now lives in Ireland. A Short History of Decay was released in July 2017. That was his latest album. It received widespread critical acclaim, with Mojo, Q giving 4 out of 5, on Cult 8 out of 10, the Sunday Times, you name it. So much so, Sarah Sher, director of If I Should Fall From Grace, the Shane MacGowan story, is making a documentary of John. It's absolutely amazing. It's also named after his album, A Short History of Decay. So with that, I'm going to play John's track, Wrong Man. You're going to love this.
And that bet never wins. After all our money's been spent, you get the belts, the buckle in, one bruises, one bleeds. The man I used to be spends all this time reminding me of all the blood I've leached. I will never be free. I know I'm cracking up. I can see it in your eyes. Wrong man to ride shotgun on you, murder mine. I'm the wrong man to ride shotgun on you, murder mine. Nightmares bore their fruit. Blood ran into my boots. Fanned the coals of that love until it was dead. Until there's nowhere left to go except empty picture shows. Promised you my life, but you were never home. Never home. And I know that I'm breaking down. I can feel it in my bones. I had already carriage picture too far from home. Lori, I had already carriage picture too far from home. Too far from home. Scar the sun don't heal from that weapon we've all got concealed. The kids the cops kill, let me be one of them too. Yeah, I know when to pack it in and still fake a smile. But I'm the wrong man to ride shotgun on you, murder mom. God damn it, I am the wrong man to ride shotgun on any murder mob.
So next, I have an interview with the amazing Neil Finley. I even know where to start, to be honest with you. He's the most talented drummer, and he's also an absolute gentleman. So he's currently the drummer with Curse of Lono, and they're signed by Submarine Cat Records. But prior to that, he was in a band called Hey Negrita, alongside Curse of Lono's frontman Felix. So this is my interview with Neil Finley, and I hope you enjoy this. Neil Finley, how are you?
I'm very well indeed. It's good to see you.
You too. It's been a long time.
It has indeed. We were just saying outside Band on the Wall in Manchester, I think was the last time we met.
Last time we saw each other.
That was it, yeah. It was, always fun to be back in Manchester playing. It's I'm missing all of that throughout this crazy year that we're enduring at the moment. God knows when it's going to end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's mad. And Neil, just give us yourself. So how did you start off in music? Yourself.
Oh goodness me! I go back a long way in music. My father was a musician, a drummer, such as myself, and that's kind of how I originally got into music. After the idea of becoming a professional footballer had been taken away from me, because I just wasn't good enough, unfortunately. So I thought, right, I'm going to become a musician. So I put everything I had into that. Spent a few years many years in Scotland, playing around Scotland with various different bands and kind of honing the craft of playing the drums. And then I somehow ended up getting accepted to a music school in London, way back in, when was that, 93 or 94 or something like that. And so I took the plunge and moved to London and studied music for a year, drumming specifically. And after that just seemed to get a load of work and found myself kind of before too long getting some good work. So I've been very lucky to forge a career as a session drummer over many years, and I've played with lots of cool people. But it's been a lot of fun. What can I say?
And where are you right now, Neil?
I am based in London. That's where I'm at currently at this moment in time. I'm often based all over the place. I spend a lot of time, and have done over my lifetime, living out of suitcases and in and out of hotel rooms, etc., and had an amazing time doing it. But at this moment in time, with all the touring that's kind of grind to a halt, we're all stuck at home, and I'm kind of stuck here in London.
Yeah, but you've created some cool space. I can see it behind me.
It is a bit of a mad space, yeah.
I love it.
It's cool. I live in a kind of crazy old building, which is about 130 odd years old or something like that, and I'm very lucky to live here. It's a cool place to hang out. I like it.
Yeah, completely. Tell us about Riverdance, Neil.
Riverdance. Oh my God, that goes back to when I was in music school. Funnily enough, there was all sorts of crazy stuff going on. It was towards the end of when we were about to graduate, and there was me and a ton of drummers on my year were visited by the kind of production team at Riverdance, and they were looking for people to kind of get involved in it because it was about to become quite a big touring show. Yeah. It had been, I think it was about to start its run at the old Hammersmith Odeon or Apollo or whatever they call it these days, and it was going to be doing a massive run there. And they came down to find out if anyone was kind of interested in getting kind of involved or auditioning and stuff like that for it. And a ton of the guys went down to do it and ended up working with the show for quite a long time, traveling all around the world. But yeah, I ended up kind of doing a little stint with it, and it was fun. It's an amazing show. There's lots I could tell about it, but I won't because I'll get into lots of trouble. But it was an amazing experience to do that, and it's. I never thought I'd see the day I'd walk onto the stage of the Hammersmith Odeon. I've seen so many cool gigs there over the years on video and stuff like that. Over the years, and it's it was a real privilege to kind of be part of that. It was a lot of fun.
I think it's so cool, Neil. Like my mom, when she found out about Riverdance, she was like, "Oh, Neil."
I've still got my artist pass and a load of passes that kind of hang here. I'm one of these kind of musicians who I try and keep, like, every festival I've ever played at and every pass I've ever gotten, I try and keep a hold of it. And I've got a massive pile of them that kind of all sit. And I was kind of I saw the Riverdance one the other day. It was it brings back very good memories.
It's amazing. And we were on the phone yesterday talking, and you told me about you've also worked with Sia.
Yeah, I've played with a few cool artists over the years. Actually, I mean, as I said, I mean, when I graduated music school way back, I kind of I ended up in this weird situation where I think it was the head of the music department or something had come to me one day and said, you know, would you like to do this session for me? I don't want to do it. It's kind of an unpaid thing. I really, really don't want to do it. But I'd quite happily put you up to do it if you wanted to do it. And I agreed. I said, yeah, yeah, sure. You know, because I was looking for a bit of exposure as a drummer at the time. So I kind of ended up taking this number and calling up this guy who said, yeah, yeah, gave me the details of this studio to turn up in. And I didn't even have a drum kit at the time. I literally had to borrow a drum kit and all the bits and bobs. Turn up in a studio, this address had been given, and it ended up being Air Studios, George Martin, the Beatles producers, incredible facility at Lyndhurst Hall, which I'd read about in magazines and the, you know, kind of seen and found myself standing there, you know, outside this place with a drum kit out of a cab. And the session ended up being, to be honest, I don't really talk about it much these days, but the session ended up being Rolf Harris, who, it was a charity single that was for, I think it was for EMI or something like that, and I was kind of drafted in to do the drums on it, and that kind of started or kick-started a kind of a little bit of a run of sessions that I ended up doing. I worked with a producer on that who really liked my playing, and it kind of led on to doing a single with Paul Jones from Manfred Mann. And then I just started to get loads of work coming in. And over the years, I've ended up playing with some cool people. Sky Edwards from Morcheeba, Lamar, I don't know if you remember him, who was on the Fame Academy. I did some gigs with him. And around about that time, I was kind of playing with a band who was doing a lot of work in residencies around various cool places in London. And we used to get people who would kind of follow us and drop in and kind of sit in with the band. And that's kind of how I met Sia many, many years ago, when I think she'd not long moved to London. And she was kind of, you know, out, you know, doing the circuit, sitting in with bands who'd let her sit in. And yeah, we did a load of shows with Sia all over kind of London. That was great fun, a lot of fun to do. And then I ended up playing with Keltis, an Irish duo who were signed to Sony. As I said, it was just a really nice run of, you know, things that I ended up kind of working with. Great artists and people. Keltis was a blast. That was a real good fun. We did 2 nights at the Albert Hall. I think on that too, with Deacon Blue, the Scottish popsters, and that was a lot of fun. It was fun to live out of a big double-decker tour bus for a while. That was my first proper experience of that, and yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah, completely. I love that. And so, Neil, at the moment, you're playing with Curse of Lono.
I am indeed.
How did you get to meet Felix and the gang?
Well, it's a funny one. Felix and I go back a long, long way. I think we 15, 16 years, I think we've been working with each other now. And I joined a band that Felix had put together way, way back called Hey Negrita. And we subsequently went on and released, I think it was 4 or 5 albums and a DVD movie that we were featured in, and various kind of things that went on. And we had an amazing time. We traveled the world with that band. We played everywhere, all across America, North America, and we just had a real blast doing it, and it was so much fun. And the band over the years kind of grew from originally what was Felix and a guy called Hugo, who was the keyboard player. It was originally a duo. It was the 2 of them, and then I joined as the drummer, as a trio, and then we expanded to a 4-piece. We got another guitar player in. And then Hugo and the guitar player then left the band after a long run of gigs, where touring kind of takes a big chunk out of you sometimes as a musician, and sometimes you can tour for too long, I think, and we're probably guilty of doing that. So at the end of a huge American tour, the guys decided they wanted to take some time out. Felix then and I decided to then kind of move forward, and the band grew into a 6-piece, and that was a lot of fun. We had some crazy times with that. And then at the end of all that, I think the kind of wheels had come off, and I think we'd kind of taken it as far as we could. And so we kind of had a little bit of time out. I've always been a drum teacher as well, so I've always worked with kind of kids and stuff like that in schools and universities, music schools, you know, kind of coaching kids in getting into playing drums and becoming part of the whole kind of music scene. So I got very engrossed in that for a number of years. And then the phone rang one day, and Felix kind of said, "Look, I'm going to put this new band together, Curse of Lono. Would you like to kind of come on board. And then from there, the whole band fell into place. We auditioned a few people. In a rather bizarre way, we ended up putting I think Felix put a few ads out on a few of those kind of online music notice boards.
Yeah.
And we had a few people who kind of dropped in and out, and we auditioned a few people. I think Karis, the bass player, was the first one to be confirmed as my wing lady, as it were, in the rhythm section. And then Joe came into place, and then Danny came into place. And yeah, we just ended up having a great sounding band very quickly. And here we are. We're kind of just recorded our fourth studio album over lockdown. So yeah, it's been a busy time.
Yeah, it's amazing. And tell us about 4 a.m. and counting.
Well, that was an unusual one, actually. We didn't really go into the studio to cut a whole album in that respect. We were aware of this studio in London, which is a vintage 1950s studio that is just a time warp. You walk in through the doors and it even smells like, I wasn't around in the 50s, but you can only imagine the kind of the smell of that era. And it's a studio where you walk in, the tiles on the wall are from the 50s, all the equipment is from the 50s, so it brings a certain kind of magic to the recording process. And unlike any other kind of studio, it's a one take kind of thing. It's how music used to be recorded, where you go into the studio and you know, you can either play the song or you can't.
Yeah.
You know, there's no computer magic behind it, there's no Pro Tools or Logic. You can't edit, it's onto tape. You know, which is expensive these days to record to anyway. So you got to be prepared to go in and just, you know, do it. And so we rehearsed a bunch of songs and we went in and we just kind of thought, well, let's just see if we can get 3 or 4 songs out of it. And within about 2 or 3 days, we had 15, 16 songs that were ready and sounding incredible, all recorded on this analog, you know, vintage gear. So we were really pleased with it, and we just decided, well, you know, we might as well put it out as a whole album, and it's been incredible for us. It's really brought us a lot of really cool attention.
Yeah, no, I loved it. Like when we went to see you guys live, like literally everybody was on the floor. It was
Yeah,
a good vibe.
I think as a musician, it's a good one as well to kind of like, I mean, you go into the studio and originally, and that was the thing about 4am and Counting, was it wasn't an album of new material. It was basically our first 2 studio albums. For want of a better word, the best of. We didn't ever plan it to be a best of in that respect. We just took songs from the first 2 albums that we liked playing, we stripped them back, we, you know, stripped the drums back, we stripped everything back, and just played it very raw, like we would in a kind of kitchen environment late at night. We were all sitting around the table with a few beers. It was that we wanted to capture that kind of vibe on it, and it was. I think we were pretty close to it, and as I say, musically, it was great to be able to strip these songs back right to the core of them, you know, almost learning to replay them in that, you know, in that kind of capacity. And when you come to kind of redo it as a bigger production with the whole band and you're back on stage with a big sound again, it's made a big difference to the way that the song structure works. You know, you really get inside the song that way. So for us as a band, it's been fantastic. I think we've all learned a lot from you know, taking a step back and looking at it a bit more acoustically.
Yeah, amazing. And when I met you, Jim Murray was supporting you, who's a lovely man.
Oh, John, yeah.
Sorry, John Murray, not Jim Murray.
John Murray, Mr. Murray. He's incredible, John Murray. We I've shared many an hour in the back of a tour bus with John Murray. He's an incredible individual. We actually we're all signed, like Curse of Lono are signed to an amazing kind of independent record label called Submarine Cat Records. Who John Murray has also recently signed to as well. So we're kind of label buddies at the moment, alongside the Alabama 3, who are very good friends of Curse of Lono and John Murray. We all have been, there's been so much going on over lockdown. There's so much to kind of catch up with. We've all been part of a Facebook Live broadcast on behalf of Submarine Cat Records. Which has been a lot of fun. I mean, over lockdown, with everyone being at home and being very frustrated, not being able to get out and do any gigs, it's you know, been a difficult time for everyone. And we kind of put together a little kind of online TV show that goes out on Facebook. And for any listeners, if you follow the Submarine Cat Music Facebook page, you'll be able to find out more information and view all of our past shows up on there. I think there's 8 of them up there as we speak at the moment, with more in the pipeline.
Amazing.
But yeah, John Murray is an amazing individual. He's got a new single out actually, just this past couple of days. So yeah, you'll find him on the Spotify. He's a great
Yeah,
guy.
completely. And he's got his own Facebook page. People can find him on there. Spotify, as you said.
Yeah, everyone's on there. Well, I mean, the Submarine Cat Music Facebook page is a great page because, I mean, all the artists that are on the label are kind of on there, all the up-to-date news, the shows that we do, you know, all of that kind of stuff. We've got some podcasts, I think, coming out in the future as well that Joe and I have recorded, the guitar player in Curse of Lana. We've interviewed a whole load of people, of which John Murray is one of them. We've also interviewed a legendary producer on the podcast, Tom Allum, who's produced Judas Priest, and he's worked with all sorts of crazy people over the years. And we've also interviewed Samantha Fish, who we toured with, Curse of Lana. We did an amazing European tour. God, it seems like quite a long time ago now after all the lockdown that we've been through. But yeah, we were out in Europe and we did a kind of, what was that, just over a month on the road with Samantha Fish and her incredible band. So we interviewed her when she was back in London, playing at a sold-out Islington Assembly Rooms. We managed to get her backstage for a little chat. So we've got all sorts of stuff, exciting stuff that's coming out, you know, as part of the label, and I'd urge all the viewers and listeners to check them out.
Yeah, 100%. And Neil, how do you think lockdown has affected musicians? Has it affected you at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's affected everyone. I mean, God, when you think about it, I mean, no matter what industry anyone works in, whatever kind of field of work or, you know, capacity, it's affected every single thing right across the board. And music and the arts is a small cog in that, you know. It's one of those things where everyone, musicians who rely on their income, who play in shows, you know, being a musician is not just, you know, about getting on a big stage in front of a big audience every night. I mean, people are teachers, people are, you know, work in residencies, people work in all fields of the music industry, studios, you know, equipment supply, catering, you know, touring companies, production managers. It goes on and on and on and on. And you know, venues are a massive part of that as well. And I just kind of hope that a lot of the venues up and down the UK, across Europe, across the world that I've played in and had the privilege of playing in over the years, manages to survive all this, because that's the biggest worry. With no venues, there's no music.
Yeah, 100%. And of course,
But
with the festivals happening this year, so there's been a lot of online festivals, thankfully, though. So there's still.
yeah, there's been a lot of, I mean, it's kind of brought out a lot of good in many ways. I've seen a lot of good in humanity and a lot of people adapting to the situation and making it work quite successfully. I've seen a lot of online festivals. I've seen virtual reality festivals. It's just, you know, it's crazy to think in this age of 2020 that we sit here. I mean, when I think back, when I was sitting gazing out of a school window as a kid, thinking 2020, we're going to have, you know, floating skateboards, you know, when we get to there. The cars are going to be floating around everywhere. It's going to be the future. It's going to be just incredible. And here we are in 2020, and it's just been an utter catastrophe from start to finish so far. You know, I, for one, would be quite happy with a full refund this year. A full refund. No quibble, you know.
100%, Neil. And you're a drummer teacher at the moment, you were saying before. If there's anyone listening who's a drummer themselves or.
Well, it's such a difficult thing. I mean, you have to be committed with anything. I mean, this applies to anything that anyone wants to do. I'm a firm believer in, you know, you find something that you like or you love, and you put everything you can into it. And, you know, people have always said, you know, if you can find something you love and turn that into a way that you can make your living, then you'll never work a day in your life, you know. But to get to that point takes a lot of commitment. It takes you know, as a musician personally, it takes a lot of practice.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to be versatile at what you do. I think versatility is the key to kind of longevity, because, you know, if you get kind of, as a musician, stuck playing one style, like for instance, if you go out and say, well, I'm a heavy metal drummer, that's what I do.
Yeah.
I use double bass drums and that's my style and that's what I do. I think, you know, if you're interested in making a living out of it, you're kind of restricting, you know, a lot of the doors that may open to you. If, for instance, you get called to do a jazz gig, you know, that could lead into something, a long-term employment. you know, if you're not equipped to deal with that, then that's going to become quite difficult to, you know, to do that. And for you as a musician in any instrument, it takes a lot of time to go away and develop not only how you learn styles, but to develop your own style, which I think is one of the most important things, putting your own stamp on it, having your own sound, you
Yeah.
know, that's becoming less and less. And if you can find a little niche in sounding maybe a little bit different from everyone else, then that's always going to be a plus point.
Completely. And what drummers inspired you when you were growing up?
Oh my God, there's so many over the years, and
Yeah.
it changes every single day. Oh God, thinking way back, I mean, there's always been the greats of drumming, the Buddy Riches of the world, who I was very privileged to see as a child playing up in Scotland when he visited there many, many years ago. And it utterly blew me away then, and it still does, even to think of it to this day. I've witnessed drummers, some of the most incredible drummers in the world. Ed Thigpen, Bernard Purdie, who I've been lucky to study with in my time. Jeff Porcaro, who I never got the chance to see. Vinnie Colaiuta, Ian Mosley. The list goes on and on and on. Manu Katché, I'm a big lover of his playing. And then up to kind of drummers I'm listening to right to this very day, drummers like Gavin Harrison, who just blows me away every time I listen and watch him. An incredible drummer who plays with the Pineapple Thief. Check them out; they're awesome. But there's so many drummers over the years, and I mean that's the thing with YouTube and stuff these days. You know, you go on and you look for a guitar player, or you look for a drummer, or you look for something, a singer, and you'll find something out there, and you'll find someone every single day that will blow you away. You know, and it's just incredible what's some of the incredible musicianship that's going on out there.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's in a cage. We're not allowed to go out and play it and
I know.
perform it and let other people enjoy the vibe of it all. That seems like a long way away. But
Yeah.
fingers crossed, we will get there.
It's so frustrating at the moment. What's next for you now?
Well, we've over lockdown, we've been very lucky to salvage what is possibly going to be the highlight of the year for us, which is we, as Curse of Lana, all went into the studio separately to
Yeah.
record our new album.
Yeah.
And it's been an unusual process for us because normally as a band, we work as a band. You know, we travel a lot. We're a live band. We spend a lot of time traveling and you know, spending time with each other on the road. We're a family. We're a very tight unit as a band. And it's been a kind of a weird and quite frustrating experience in many ways because we're used to all being in a room together as a family and creating music and having a good time together and, you know, enjoying each other's company and you know, and that's a big part of what being in a band is all about. And we're very blessed in many ways that we all get on extremely well with each other.
Yeah.
We've put each other to the absolute test on some of these long tours we've done. And, you know, we all get on great. Remember, the new album was an interesting process because normally we're used to going into a studio and trying to get as much of it recorded as a live band in a room as possible. And in this instance, it was a little bit different. We all had to go in separately under kind of quarantine conditions. And I was in for a couple of days at the very beginning, putting the drums down. And then I think Karis was in a couple of days after me. And then Joe was in for a few days after that. And Danny, and then Felix has been putting parts in. And we've never actually all been in a room, you know, playing a note together. And that's the word I'd use, together. It's all been a very separate experience. But I have no doubt that, you know, when we get to the end of the day and the album's mixed and you know, it's all finalized, I'm hoping it's going to sound really good. We all went into the project knowing that we were going to have to record it in this way. And, you know, that's just the sign of our times. I mean, who knows, in the future that might be commonplace, but, you know, at the moment, we've done that. So I feel very lucky that as a band, we've managed to come out of the lockdown with something out of it. And it may be the only thing that we'll get out of it this year because, you know, not seeing the smiling faces of an audience or getting the chance to tour or travel anywhere by the looks of it with the band this year. It's, you know, it's about the only thing we've got. But as I say, at this very stage, it's in the hands of the producer who's going to be spending a bit of time on the mixes over the next little while. And so I would imagine over the next few weeks, I'm going to be getting some mixes put over. And then as a band, I'm sure we'll all get on Zoom and argue the way we used to about mixes and what, you know, give me more drums, give me more bass, give me more guitar, you know, the things that bands do. So we've got that to look forward to at least.
Yeah. No, that's very exciting.
So we'll see what we can do. But yeah, the new album is going to be the new thing. I don't even know what it's going to be called yet. We've just got a bunch of great songs together. And I think we've done a really good job in recording them. And yeah, hopefully we'll have done the songs justice.
No, it'll be exciting. And like once lockdown is finally ended, the album's released, you'll be out touring again.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed. Yeah, I mean, it's just, again, so difficult. I mean, we're very lucky that we have a good team of agents that we work with for booking our gigs and stuff across Europe and across the UK. And so much of the plans that we had in place for the next couple of years have all, hit the fan this year. And we just kind of hope that at some point, as I say, once we get, through this horrible kind of dark tunnel that everyone's been, enduring over the past little while, that we can get to the stage where we can go out and see gigs again. We can go and enjoy live music. We can put money into the coffers of the venues and get things, get the wheels rolling again. It's a very frustrating experience for everyone. And well, I guess, to be safe, we've just got to hang on in there and kind of take whatever advice our supposed government is going to give us, wear our face masks, and try and be as kind of responsible as we can.
Yeah, 100%. And Neil, let me ask, for any of our viewers out there who want to listen to Curse of Lono, do you have any social media pages?
Oh, we've got everything in this day and age. I think you have to. What have we got? We've got just, if you do a Google search for Curse of Lono,
Yeah.
it's the name of a Hunter S. Thompson book, is where the name of the band comes from. I've got a copy with me here. It's incredible, the artwork and stuff that's in it. But yeah, that was what the band was named after. It's a book by Hunter S. Thompson. Don't get it confused. But yeah, Curse of Lono Band, I think .com or .co.uk is the main website. But we've also got every social media, from Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, MySpace. I'm not sure if we've got a MySpace or a Bebo anymore, but yeah, we're out there. You don't have to look far to find us.
Yeah, incredible. And also with Submarine Records, we can find
Yeah,
that.
Submarine Cat Music. Check out the Facebook page for that, and you'll get information about all the bands and stuff that are on the label, and we're hopefully all going to be touring with very soon. We're all in a position. Alabama 3 have been also in isolation, kind of recording their album. And I've been catching up with Larry, the lead singer in Alabama 3, and John Murray, who's also got a new album recorded. So everyone's kind of like, in that position now where we've all got albums that we want to put out, and then we want to tour. But hopefully the industry and everything will get back to normal, or whatever that means, very soon.
Exactly. And we can't wait to have you back, Neil. I can't wait. I can't wait to come and see you again.
Yeah, well, it's going to be fun. I mean, as I said, I think the UK is going to be one of the first places I think people are going to start venturing out to. It seems like a weird time. I mean, the idea of actually touring abroad at the moment is very difficult with Brexit on the horizon, and it's never made it. Nothing's made easy for the life of a traveling musician. Play my violin, my tiny violin there. But yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward. There's some amazing places that I love to gig in up and down the country. I mean, Glasgow, Manchester is always a fun one. I always look forward to rolling into Manchester. Liverpool, am I allowed to say that? Maybe I'll get into trouble for saying that. That's always a good place to play. There's so many places. Newcastle's another place. It's I love getting up around the country and kind of seeing people, catching up with people, and it's always a pleasure to do so. So I look forward to catching up with everyone very soon.
Yeah, I can't wait, still. Anyway, we're going to love you and leave you. It's been such a pleasure speaking to you.
And to you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for having me on the show.
No, it's been an absolute honour, honestly. From the moment me and Mum met you, we adored you completely. So.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. I'm blushing now. Stop it.
I can see. Neil, we'll see you very shortly.
I look forward to it, and I hope all your listeners are staying safe and well in these times, and will continue to do so. But thanks again for having me on the show. It's been a real pleasure.
No, thank you, Neil. So that was the brilliant Neil Findlay. And so next we're going to play a track from Curse of Lono. And this is from their latest album, 4am and Counting. And this track's called Tell Me About Your Love. So I know they're in the studio at the moment, who's saying the interview, and they're working on something really exciting. So make sure to follow them on Facebook, check out their website, Spotify, Instagram, absolutely everything they have. They're absolutely an incredible band.
1, 2, 3, and no time to start again. We're running down the clock. You can save your pills, they can't help me now. One jump left, I'll take it with a smile. Won't you stay and sit with me a while? Something moved back when we began, and I was a slave digging for your love. I can still recall your breath under my skin. 1,000 years would not have been enough. Oh, my time is done. Tell me about your love. Oh, my time is done. Tell me about your love. Just an echo by the bridge. Watch your tears fall to the ground. Days the pain is better left alone. All that remains are snapshots on a reel. Tired old projections flickering on the wall. Oh, my time is done. Tell me about your love. Oh, my time is done. Tell me about your love. Out on the lake, the boats keep passing by. The sun beats down, and I can feel their shadows grow. Won't you take my hand the way you've always done? I'm a little scared of letting go this time. Oh, my time is done. Tell me about your love. Oh, my time is done. Tell me about your love. Oh, my time is done. Tell me about your love. Oh, my time is done. Tell me about your love.
So the next interview I have is with Manchester man Tino Kane. So he's releasing his debut album, so I'm sure he can't wait. I'm excited. So his album is so diverse. So he has songs you'll all be able to relate to. One features a track with Twisted Wheel's Johnny Brown, Don't Hide. I think we played that on our first show. It's a beautiful track. And the track we're about to play next is one he sang with a beautiful singer-songwriter, Katie O'Malley. And this is 1984.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you, it's a pleasure. You're having me.
So I met you first at MMTV, properly. I think we had conversations beforehand.
Yeah.
You were playing there?
Yeah, down at MMTV with Fat Next Place and Anton. It's a pleasure going down there with my mate Sean Jackson, the mad dude off the memes.
So it's something we're going to speak about. You're releasing your album at the moment.
Yeah, it's out on the 14th of this month. It's got 8 songs in it, 4 of them are already out. I've got another 4, one with Katie O'Malley, one's with Matthew Holland, one's with Johnny Brown. The rest I'm on. It's all good, sounding good.
And all your tracks are completely different, which is so beautiful about it.
Yeah, well, I like involving other people in my tunes, collaborations. It just seems to bring another dimension to your tunes, which I enjoy doing.
So tell me about the track with Johnny Brown.
Don't Hide. Yeah, we've done that about 2 years ago, me and Janet, and it was just about mental health. And we've done a great video of that in town with all the homeless people, and we actually raised a few quid for a charity in Rottenstall, M3 it was, and we raised a few quid, so it was all good, and I think it raised a few, issues as well.
Yeah.
Might have changed people's lives maybe.
It's so important. What you're both speaking of on the song is literally about men's mental health, and it's something that's ignored a lot of the time, you know?
Well, there's a lovely line which says, "It doesn't mean you're not a man if you cry."
Yeah,
I like that one.
I love it. It's something we spoke about before. And so with Katie O'Malley, tell me how you met her and how you started working together.
Well, I've seen her on the internet, knew she was a good singer, and I just put it to her. I just said, "Do you fancy doing a song?" And it was 1984, which is about the Orwellian times that we're going through. And it just worked out. Her voice is beautiful. That's one of my favourite songs on the album, to be honest. No one's really heard that one yet. I've got to bring a little video to that. And it was a pleasure that she done that with me.
Yeah, 100%. And so, how did you start playing music?
I've been playing from a little kid, listening to The Doors, Beatles, The Who, all sorts of bands, and Oasis were out at the time, which was a big surge to get me to pick a guitar up. And normally I played a bass, which with all the King's Men, Matthew Holland and all the King's Men, he's got a song out, Love, which is coming out now, which is smashing it. Actually, I think it's just got over 100,000 views.
Wow.
So everything's going well with the whole lot of us. So
And the All King's Men. So you and Matthew knew each other from you were 5, 6 years old?
yeah, we went to nursery together, we've been best
Yeah.
mates. We've had to put up with each other for years. But, yeah.
That's cute. And so, do you think you both helped each other out in your music?
Oh, definitely. Well, Matthew's a brilliant songwriter, and I sort of worked with him because I was used to playing the bass, and I just thought, I just picked a guitar up on this lockdown and started playing. I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to write an album myself and see what comes of it.
Good man.
And it's all worked out, it seems pretty good.
And so, with your own album, what inspired your writing on it? I know a lot.
Well, I listen to a lot of folk as well. I've been listening to Rob Riguez, Bob Dylan lately, and well, Rob Riguez, he's definitely influenced my album. He's brilliant. There's a video out called The Sugar Man. It's on Amazon. Just watch that. He's searching for the Sugar Man. It's on Amazon, and it's brilliant. Just watch it, and his story is unbelievable. Makes you cry.
Yeah.
To watch it.
And so, do you have any future gigs, or do you have festivals coming up, or what's happening next for you?
I did have a gig set up at the Star and Garter, like headline gig, but obviously with the COVID stuff, it's not going ahead.
Yeah.
But hopefully I'll get in touch with him. Hopefully October things will start moving again, and we can start playing live, because that's what it's all about. So,
No, of course. And you were saying before about the music that inspired you growing up, such as The Doors, Beatles.
The Doors is my biggest band. Matthews is the Beatles, but mine was The Doors. I love them. I've got 2 tattoos on my arms, Cobra on my left, and a leopard on my right, which is off the Soft Parade, the song. Jim Morrison.
I love Jim Morrison so much. How can people find you on streaming? Do you have Facebook, Instagram?
Yeah, well, I'm on Facebook, Tino Kane, on everything, Spotify, just all the usual, the music platforms you can get there, download it. I'm there everywhere, ready to go, boom, in your face.
Good man. And tell me, there's another song on the album I want to speak about, by the way. It's one of the most beautiful songs I've actually ever listened to before. It's not about drugs.
That was actually influenced by my cousin, who died of an heroin overdose. And obviously, well, it's a bit close to my heart. I'd rather leave it there. It's just about my cousin who died of an heroin overdose.
You didn't speak about it, by the way.
That's where that comes from.
Yeah.
That's called What Has Become of You. That's good, isn't it?
I love it so much. It's a track that hits me. Like, it'll hit so many other people, and with all your tracks, you're so honest in your lyrics.
And I've written one about my 2 daughters as well, a song for my girls.
Yeah.
It's not so much melody wise, but I just love the lyrics in that because it's for my 2 beautiful daughters,
Oh. And if you give them a little shout out.
Shannon and Layla.
So Shannon was playing.
Oh yeah, Shannon played the
She's a
bass.
bass player.
Yeah, she played the bass with me at MMTV. She was a bit scared. She said she was shaking before it, but she pulled it off.
Yeah, she was.
She got more likes than me.
Go you, Shannon. So Tino, what a pleasure, mate.
Yeah, thanks. It's a pleasure being here. Hey, the sun's just come
Now
out.
the sun has just come out. As soon as we're
Yay.
talking to songs of Tina Kane, like I think God heard us. So you can buy Tino's album on the 14th of August. You can look on all the platforms, find them out there.
Yeah, there we go. Spotify, Amazon, everywhere.
It's been a pleasure, guys.
Thank you. Can I just say thanks to Dean Glover down at Vibe Studios who played all the music, produced it. He's a brilliant. Ben Robinson who's playing the drums, lethal drummer, and Rory as well who started playing live with me, Rory Birch as well.
Yeah.
Cheers to the boys.
Remember taking rides on an aeroplane, drinking in the pub, those days were great. Going to the park with your family, driving in your car to wherever you wish to be. But now you're stuck at home, you better do as you're told. Wherever that you go, you better take your phone and leave your location on, and leave your location on. No one likes to be told what to do, but in this world, that's all they seem to do. Take me away to Long Beach, where my worries won't reach me. But now you're stuck at home, you better do as you're told. Wherever that you go, you better take your phone and leave your location on, and leave your location on. Now you're stuck at home, you better do as you're told. Wherever that you go, you better take your phone and leave your location on, and leave your location on.
That was 1984 with Tina Kane and Katie O'Malley. And as you all know, Songs with Tina Kane is out tomorrow, so you can find his new album on all major music platforms, and make sure to check out his Facebook page. Just type in Tina Kane. and he's an incredible talent, and this is such an exciting time for him right now, so everyone just get behind him. So I can't believe that's all we have time for tonight. So we're going to finish off with another local talent. So this is Stepford Wives and their new track, All of Me. A massive thank you to Neil Finley and Tino Kane, absolute legends. We'll be back on Tuesday, and this time we have legendary Manchester artist, Mark Kennedy. You'll have seen his work everywhere. We've got one behind us, the Manchester Irish flag. And we have actor Israel Ober. So this is going to be extremely exciting. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great weekend.